People will come out one day. That's why people take over government unconstitutionally. But again, there are constitutional ways of taking over government, ending it before elections. And that's where Bala is going to push us. And I tell you, things are going to even get worse. You know, I told you they're going to increase the ports, and because of the electricity increase, a lot of other things will be increased. Then Gambians will have to either get up and go and get Barrow out because he's responsible, and it can be changed. It can be changed. The millions he's talking about, the millions that went to Hadim Gay, Barrow talking about, oh, look at Banjul roads. $50 million. Those roads could have been built, few millions. Houses could have been built. Youths could have been employed. 50 million could have. No, it is cash cow for Barrow and Hadim Gay. Then to say that, look, I bought these roads. No, it's for your benefit. And many other contracts he's talking about. All the money he's talking about is what they benefited, and now to sell you as an election decision. They gave exemption of tax to Hadim Gay. I did not say the National Audit Report said that. They gave exception tax to 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 Port. Imagine 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 Port, whatever percentage they need to pay tax. Now they are making millions, they're not paying tax. Can you imagine that? If even was a good contract, they should have been paying tax. Now, paying tax, that tax, imagine where those millions would be going. No, why they're not paying tax? No, they are giving it as kickbacks. But the election comes, they will bribe us, these things. And this is the evidence I'm talking about. Now, it's talking about the vice president facilitating this Mr. An to see the president, and the president have already given something to Mr. An. Didn't I say that what they do? Now, he's saying that they're going to give more money when the campaign money kicks in. Let's listen to the rest. Just a minute.
Well, by the Mr. An, call him Safa. Making handle on them CV people. Well, you said like president. Finally, why I'm not looking for them. TV&MEDIA. So guys, they may start saying campaign, we send campaign funds for gaining and all that thing, confirm anytime in the, apply and full scholarship. So it all now depends on you. Wow. It depends on you. I know on like,
now you see, he's saying that now we give you that money and after we'll give you the scholarships. Didn't I say this is what they do? They induce them. Now to remove a candidate or a permanent supporter to an opposition, now you want to undermine the opposition, damage the opposition so that you do whatever you want. You can get away with whatever you want. Not about good governance. Now we expect peace and stability. And now, Bala, the crime will go on other things because of the kids have been failed. Why one person, because of they withdrawing their candidature, you give them all that money and give them scholarship? For how many years and how much? But students are in Gambia College, trying to be nurses, trying to be doctors, trying to be this, trying to be that. But we are not putting money there. Hospitals, we are not putting money there, but to keep Barrow, we'll do anything. That's the evidence.
Okay. So you got it, president be, Fontana. I'm not going to invite, sometime in the future, inshallah. But I make sure that little time fulfill now. So I'm not going to job or what I'm not call it Chingongi. I'm not a negative meeting. I super new job for a listen like I did now call now job. If I get a pull you, inshallah. So they call it in the
Thank you. Now, this Njoguba that we have, the commission say that he should not have business with government. He should not be employed by government. But he is technically empire government. You think he's doing this for free? You think he's doing it because he loves Barrow? No, he's part of the cabal. I don't want to label the cabal how they label them. But that's how they do it. It's an extended family cabal. You have Sheikh Ahmad Jigo as the business manager for Barrow, just as what Amadou Samba used to do. That's why the TRRC would not be implemented, because Njai Sidi and many other people are listening. The same people appointed our defense minister. Our defense minister is from them, but they even lose that seat. And I tell you, North Bank would have been lost. You know that some of the polling stations, UDP did not man those polling stations properly. That's why I said the opposition have to be really these things. You don't just wait for elections and say, okay, a few days we train these things. Part of your party militants is about giving them skills, training them for democracy, understand how to do these things. You don't have to rely on 2 people to be these things. Even have 4, have 2 reserves. If one drop anytime, you have someone. There's no point that we try to get someone. Any corner, the structures that what it should be. It's not about dancing and other things. Or wait for elections. But you see, he's saying it. This is the person. He's still in front. He's arranging people to see the president. And you want to believe that APRC is not in command? They did not appoint the vice, they did not give you a vice president too? You see, APRC means a lot. But no, when we look at APRC, we just think Fabakari and all. No, these different cabals. Different cabals. And they are responsible for that businesses and other things. That's why they don't care. They will divide us and try to do everything for us to be divided and distracted. But as I said, they said it. What we have been saying all these years, they knew it. They knew. They don't care. They don't care. Thank you, guys. I would have been longer here, but and to go through every audio, but I think the audio is in circulation now everywhere. You have had it. Thank you and have a good afternoon. And tomorrow I'm waiting for a friend of mine, someone you guys know, should be visiting me, and we'll sit and analyze the elections results. We'll have a chat and analyze it, and we'll broadcast it tomorrow, inshallah, probably by 7 p.m. UK time. That's about 6 p.m. Gambia. But other things are going on. There's so much going on. I mean, it's unfortunate we don't have time to publish some of these things because we need to investigate it. But there's a police commander arrested mysteriously because of Barrow don't like what he represents. And we're trying to trace that commander. We know that he reported to the, let me just see the message. We know that he reported to, just a minute, he reported to the headquarters, and he's arrested, and he have been over the 72 hours, not released. And the family members are concerned. I got, okay. Just a minute, there was most of them. Lamin Banda. We are concerned about the whereabouts of our family member, Police Commissioner Lamin Banda. He was called to report to the police headquarters yesterday. Since then, he has not returned home. A family member reached out for investigation. Now, we have established that, yes, he has reported to the headquarters and he's been arrested. But technically put in comunicado. And what happened, there are details we are investigating, but we already knew some of it have already been in the press. That this commander was in charge of Soma and Lower River. And NPP, or some people claim to be NPP, reported that he was biased and accused him to be opposition. And Barrow, they reported to Barrow, and on the instance, Barrow turned around to the Interior Minister and gave instructions to the Interior Minister, I want him transfer, and the Interior Minister effected that transfer. But now, that's not enough. Now what they're doing is labeling him opposition and arresting him. For what? For what? That's why I say Gambia, what Barrow is working on is a full dictatorship. And the same people that enable Jammeh are behind him. And if we are not careful to be divided, that country will be completely destroyed. And we should open our eyes and look at the development in Senegal. We should be careful what is happening in that country. Thank you very much.
You don't collect about 7 months collection, and you never go. Pay anything 25%. Or the thing is, this year, you want to talk about Muri Gambia, you don't get project visa. What I'm going to have, you don't collect, pay you 7 months. $146 million. Then you will pay. Then you will get a new pay. You will pay. Let's have Muri Gambia will pay $146,000. And what you want? Or the thing is, all what you put on it, then you will pay security report. $146 million in Balma. Who have never been going to pay. But security report, the one of them. And if you take advantage, Your Excellency, more than 26 can anyway. You think what's matter, right? I see we then not know you. You know what it will be? Because you know, time will be 20 pounds now, do 20 pounds, do 25 pounds. You know, Sendika, Kubaduga, do not Juru. No for security airport. Send responsibility there. Do you know, as tourists, you want to pay 20 pounds time, 20 pounds time, they pay 25 pounds. Lucky dolly, government in the diaspora. So you know, Sendika, when I pay 25 pounds, money I tourist, you know, Sendika. Don't be out. The Central Bank,
now you see what we talk about security report. But Bala, the same Bala Jahumpa, let him call for a commission. He's quoting the audit report, something we Maligan talk about. We talked about these all things. In a nutshell, they knew what they were doing. They knew all these things. But he was campaigning for Barrow. And he would have continued to campaign if the doors were not locked. The doors are locked. Now they have to do this. Barrow is asking for accountability for the money. Now he's turning around to attack. And Gambians will be gullible. I'm not saying that you don't support the content, but this person, after next minute, if Barrow opens the doors, he'll turn around again. He's not a truthful person. He's doing it for a purpose. But what we have to tell you, say to Gambians is, look, I could play the rest of it, but it's the same thing. He's going from one to another, one to another, one to another, of everything we've been saying here. I didn't, because I don't have that much time. I want to play the other audio from, which is alleged, emphasized from Joguba. I listened to it. It sounds like Joguba, and the content makes sense and everything, because some of the things we know. I'll have to play that. But again, this is what is happening in our country. Now, the way that he puts this, he knew everything. Now, what I'm saying is we are living these facts. But what do we need? We cannot just blame the government for this. We blame ourselves. We blame the opposition for not stepping up properly. Now they have an opportunity. Now they should not wait for the pen to dry. But I will tell you what. You know what's going to happen? Now they're all going to sit down and wait. After, in any serious government, country, this government would have gone. This is seizing a mandate. And you don't have, I have to only wait for elections. Now, the Gambians should have to go out there. The opposition have to take leadership. Civil society take leadership and demand all the reforms that we need. That's how the opposition make an agenda. Demand in parliament, demand in the streets. That's what is happening in the UK here and somewhere else. Barrow have to be forced. No, they will sit down there and hopeful and wait for elections. 2016 we'll win. You don't see our results and wait. And if you think that if you wait for the pen to dry and wait for 2016 and come with your 10-point agenda, 5-point agendas, and you think Gambian people will rally, if you don't know how to broaden your base, if you don't know how to build your structures, if you don't know how to develop your skills of your party militants to able to monitor and do things, the election would have been worse so bad if even the political parties did much. And if I say political parties really here, technically it's UDP alone now. PDIs have need to step up. so that we at least have a second party. GDC is gone. PPP is gone. I mean, I'm not going to name those that have that went with, but anyway, they are gone anyway. They are non-parties. The NUP cannot lift anything yet. But if they are serious, they have to lift something, or they have to, see where they fit in. But we cannot sustain this. Let me move on to the other bit, which is very important. The audio alleged to be from Joguba. Let's listen to this.
Well, by the way, Mr. Ann, call him Osaka. Making handle on them CV people. You say like president. Finally, why I'm not looking for John. So guys, they will start saying campaign funds for Guineas and other things. Confirm
Now, 1 minute. I got this message. I need to look at. Let me check this, sir. Now, okay, this audio, which alleged Joguba, sounds like Joguba. Believe it's at the content make me to believe it's Joguba. Remember when I tell you the appointment of this vice president, that it's from the same 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒏. How to call it? 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒏. You have the same, connected to Joguba, connected to Jigo, connected to Mohammed Dia, connected to Medina Seligmas, connected to Kuntaya and that cabal there, and obviously the settlement in Banyu connected to Imam Ratib and so. This is part of what I was saying, the evidence here. It's the same people. Go and look at the same people when 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 was vice president. Now, this audio is set when Joguba was saying this. He made this audio and sent it to the UDP candidate Vital. Now Vital released this to say that, look, these people are trying to buy me out. Now he's saying that, or the Mr. Ann have seen the vice president. You see, this is what we have. Seen the vice president, and the vice president gone to the president, and the president have given him something. What it means, something is money. But use that money for now, because the campaign funds will come out. You know, the campaign funds is the other funds. Then we can give you from there. You see, they win elections. They do that. They will not. The president, vice president, with all the things going on with the issues about our healthcare, about everything else, they don't care about that. They are confident that, believing that what election comes, we can divide Gambians, make them follow tribe and religious issues. Let's talk about hijab. Let's talk about other things. They will be busy doing that. Let them hate each other. The second thing, we have control over the IEC. We have control over the PIU. Then we can manipulate the IEC, use the IEC and manipulate issues. If anybody comes out, we have the PIU to go against them. Because already we have divided them. The only people coming out will be UDP, and we can justify that UDP, they are tribalists and they are violent. It's a strategy. Now, we give money to other communities. We give money to religious leaders. We give money to alcalos. We give money to other people and let them go and tell their people and reinforce it. And we get some Mandinkas around us to come out first to attack the other Mandinkas in UDP. And do this and do it. That's what they do. And we'll win. And give other the campaign money, buy for Yai campaigns, and this will win. Give them promises. That's what they do. This is what they do. The evidence is out there. But they will not talk about hospitals, this. You see, if they were doing that, fighting corruption and others, you think we go against Bala because we hate him? Remember, we fought to put him there. Then we would have discussed who would do better. Who would do better? And that's why I'm telling why this is serious. If you keep on controlling, influencing elections, and people say you did this country and everything else, people will come out one day. Look at back our entirety. Your tourism. Let's look at the fisheries. Let's look at sports. Let's look at that. From that discussion, you know how many youths will sit down and say, I like what these people are saying. I like what these people are doing. Okay. That's how you start to get that grassroots, not because you appeal to certain people on sentiments. Now they become your youths. They just follow you for that. No. I'll tell you, go and listen to past any youth that you see how radical they are. They can discuss policy points. Because there is something, a structure there that informs their minds on policy. They'll point to the solution. Because what the past did for us was to produce a solution. Because we all know our problems. That's where we expect all this. Let's move on. Because we touch on corruption. Let's finish from there. Yeah. Again, this is exactly what we keep on saying. Exactly. But look at the corruption he talked about. Just look at the corruption he talked about. It's true. When we say that, it's Barrow who is responsible for this. Because Barrow is involved. Now, the corruption, he talked about the ports. How did the management change in the ports? And why all these problems going in the ports, the failures in the ports, but Barrow will not change the person. Who is the person there? Jobate. How did Jobate get to that level? Because of what? Jobate should not even be in government employment now. He went to the commissions, the commissions, and admit to taking money to Jammeh, the same father used to collect at the Phoenix. Barrow, that's what Barrow wants. Barrow bring him in there. Got rid of others. Since Jobate came in, how many scandals? Nothing will come out of it. Because you know why? You know, there's a private port run by Hadim Guy. That's why Hadim Guy was given money. That port, the land given to Hadim Guy, that land Hadim Guy borrowed from the government in order to use it as a depot to build the Bone Road when Jammeh gave him a contract to Bone Road. That poor contract he did. Even that Harding guy should not have any business with government. We all know what transpired, but no, because Barrow did. Now, with Harding guy, the then Works Minister, Job, what did they do? Took that land and passed it on to Harding Bay to run as a dry port. Not only that land, extended and even took part of the wetland, which part of what exacerbated the flood in Banjul. Why would you think the government would do that? What ministers would do that? I mean for these things. Now, ports are paying euros to Harding Bay. You think Harding Bay is not giving euros back to Barrow? This is all part of the performance of the ports. And because of the performance of the ports, poor performance, the cost of the ports, now the traders, you see, when you talk about price control, how can you control that price? When there's no efficiency at the ports, when it costs a lot, too much red tape at the ports. And I'll tell you this, they are introducing a £500 charges for tracking. For tracking. I've got the letter here. Now, that's an extra cost again. That's going to be passed on to consumers. A tracking that was not needed because there's already tracking going on. If you have a container anywhere coming to the Gambia, you go to Max Line website and you put the container number, you can track that container from wherever it goes to and when it's going to arrive in the Gambia. Why would you take a contract and give it to another company to do the same thing? Just that's what they did with the airport. And next minute, I'll tell you, you can hear that 500 have increased to something else because of Barrow is getting kickback from it. He's talking about the ports. Now, he talked about GRA. Who is at GRA? Yankuba Dabo. Why Yankuba Dabo have never been moved? He's the only MD from Jammeh time to now. Do you think because he's doing a good job, he's meeting targets? What targets? Targets, if you put a target which is ridiculous, people will surpass it. But go and see what surplus they have then. What surplus do they have? Go and look at their lifestyle. Not only him, but how many people, their lifestyle. And other scandals and other scandals. We know all this. The central bank. Why do you think that central bank gave out $100 million and the central bank governor have the audacity to say that he's not going to reveal who the money is given to? Why do you think Barrow, within the short period of 5 years, have two nephews, Amadou Sane and Njaga Sane, who were renting the time their uncle came to power, and renting, they were living in a rented property. Now today they are multimillionaires. You wonder that you think they're not benefiting from the corruption? You think because they are smart? Because of what? No. You think it's a coincidence that their uncle become a president? We have to wise up. Yeah. I mean, everything he said about this thing, about fisheries. Now, you see, now he is saying, about the fisheries. And he's talking about gun petroleum. He's saying GNPC. No, it's gun petroleum. That tells you something about Bala. He was a finance minister. He was, it's different ministers. No, he's referring to gun petroleum. Now, now what we accuse the president is that's what he said. Will the president take him to court? Will the president take him to court? Let's go on. That's why when people come in to say that we fabricate, we do this, we do that. But this is a former minister who has been supporting Barrow from the beginning. Let's move on to the next one.
Because security port company talk in the banana. You only am 75%. You want to you am 25%.
Benefit from it. Go and look at the Senelec contract, how it's signed, who benefit from it. Go and look at the supply of petroleum to NAWEC, who supply. You know, it's millions of dollars to supply petrol to NAWEC. Fuel and lubricants. Go and look at the contracts given. The 35 million Kudole. It was because of a NAWEC contract. Go and look at that contract. Go and look at the contracts the Indians got from NAWEC. And others who benefit from them. And that's what we're paying for today. the inefficiency, and anything else. Now they take the tribalism and everything in it. Barrow have the powers to appoint those board of this thing. Barrow appoint the managing directors, and technically the directors, because his influence gets to that. Barrow appoints the minister of energy. Who else to be blamed if everything failed? How many millions or billions of dollars have been pumped into NAWEC, into grants and everything else? Now go and look at NAWEC accounts. This is we have to blame. And the cost of living, who is to blame? What happened since Barrow came in? Did he create jobs? No. What happened to airport? Who is in charge of that fraud of airport levy? Now it's going to, we'll come to that. He pointed out all this. Some people jokingly send me the audios to say that this is not Bala Jahumpa'S, it's Suleiman Ben Swale. Because he said exactly what he says. But this is not about we being vindicated. But look, unless you live under another sky, but if you live under the Gambian sky, and the Gambian sky extends to the diaspora, you know the facts. Ben Swale doesn't have to tell you. What we do, we just try to be active and keep a discourse. But the wrongs and rights, we educated Gambians, we Gambians who are fortunate not to be a little bit aware, we know where it is. And the local Gambians don't, it's not that they don't know, but when it hits them and everything, what do? The politicians will go on there and divide them and make them believe. Oh, it's about the Christians' issues. Oh, no, it's about Islam's issues. No, it's about tribal issues. No, it's about somebody else's issues. Rather than tell them that this is the policy, it's follow policy, it's about corruption, it's about this, about that. Let's move to the second audio, because I'm just keeping brief. I can go on and go on.
Your Excellency, sir, I have respect and technique. Pour dimbale duñ la jey ñu la ñi la wóor réew mi ne duñ la day wax dëgg xam nañ li xew ci réew mi métit gi nañu nekkee waaw ñu wàllu nawet ak ndox waaye seer mi réew mi seer loolu nag te mu ngi seer nee na ngi seer jën na ngi seer kobo sax bu njëkk dañ daan wax ne jëni baaroo la waaye léegi borom alal yi sax dañoo wuti kobo benn kobo $100 500 kobo $500 benn jaxatu $25 President bi naan jaayee 120 or 25 léegi président $330 maalo moom waxee noppi diwlin waxee noppi loolu yëpp am na ñoo xam ne kenn waxantatul Your Excellency ñu nga ci mere te jëluloo ci benn jéego Sénégal ñoom daloon na leen dañ employé ay youth ñu teg ak comme lu mel ni DRA ak yooyu di lay indi bagage yi ñaata lañ ko dee odee ñaata lañ ko fay tax ñu def ko di xam di actual price ñaata lañ ko war a jaayee ñu wër ci boutique yi rek dina laaj ñaata nga jaayee su rombee loolu ñu naan ak dugal ci oto bi duñ la gisee nag yooyu waaye dinañ la fay doo ko defati jëkk bi dafa tuuti nañ la ne soo ko defee gars yi dinañ ñëw dinañ la fay ne or ñu teg sa boutique sax dimbale waa réew mi boobu tam ni ñaan la dimbale trop dëkk bi dafa seer dafa def beneen boo xam ne ñu ngi ko mënu mun man dinaa ko wax ñu ne corruption bi nekk ci dëkk bi tam dafa bari Gambia Port Authority amoon nañ fi géej ne am na aw ma ay jigéen aw ma lan ñu daan politique yoo xam ne bu jibee ñu jox ko police pour ñu investigation.
Let me just touch on this. This guy said that Dumala Jai means we are not going to just praise you for it. He's lying. He's lying. He's been praising Barrow all these years. Why now? And when they say that advice, when they go to look, I can tell exactly the script, how they advise. The advice is put themselves. They can point out all the problems and say, oh, this is this, and that's said all that those people are not able to fix this, we can fix this, we can do this. And that's how they fight among each other. And the other lie is, oh, look at Senegal, because Senegal put some youths. That was a lie. It was a measure that failed and was a lie. It was a reactionary thing. Go and look at Senegal. Prices are escalating because it's the same form of governance. It's not about policies that benefits the people. It's about policies that benefits the elites and the contractors. I give you an example of many things that you look at Dakar and say the development in Dakar. I've been in Dakar in November. I was in Senegal for about 2 weeks. from Salum, Dakar, Thiès, Jolof, Mbacké, Touba, and Fouta. I've gone through all the trail. I have seen the evidence. In Dakar, you'll be surprised. The suffering of people. You might see the infrastructure. You might see the apartments and everything. Go and find out how many people own that. Go and see the suffering. Go and see the lack of employment. Then the prices are determined by many factors. Productivity to produce in many aspects of the economy, and corruption. He's talking about fish. And they will tell you that to control the price of fish. How can you control the price of fish? When that government, just as in Senegal, the same fish now is not affordable. Because of our governments decided to give license to Chinese factories and other national factories, and the EU and other multinationals to fish. Why not get us to fish and sell them the fish? Now you open your oceans and everything. That's what happened. And now, just give example, Senegal, how many? Not communities. There are historically, the founders of Dakar themselves lived on the ocean. The Lebus. What is happening to them now? You don't see the Lebus demonstrating? The government killing them, shooting them. Now they took the sheep. Now they're taking the land that's left for them. Now anything, one thing they want to enjoy it is the scenery of the environment. Now they want to push them out. And so-called elites in Senegal saying that export them, take them away from here. Now because now the elites want to come there to build these nice apartments and others. That's what they say, development. That's what he said about Dakar here. He's dishonest or ignorant. He's saying this. Now, how comes an African country, we cannot even poultry farming? It takes 6 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks. You can get eggs, you can get this. Why can't we not feed ourselves? Why can't we not feed ourselves? Ukraine is in war. Do you know still Ukraine is exporting and we still relying on Ukraine for grains and other things? And for all these billions we said we pump into agriculture? Yes, and you put a non-entity as your agriculture minister? Political expediency. All the achievement is he went on a tribal campaign for you, telling that if you vote for GDC, which they term as a fuller party, then you are supporting UDP. They went to the fullers in Fonia and other areas to tell them that. And now he is rewarded for the Minister of Agriculture. And we expect this. Yes, this is what is happening. We said it. X, Y. African countries, how many African countries are more wealthier than Ukraine? Have more land, fertile land than Ukraine? Have more population than Ukraine? Have more brains than Ukraine? But the entire continent cry, and we have our leaders running to cry, please, please allow your export. Please, please allow your export. Because this is the sort of politicians we have. But again, the opposition doesn't seem to be better. Because they are not coming out to tell us the alternative. This is where the change is. Go and look. I hate to say go and listen to Pastef. We said it here before. The reason Pastef is been relevant today to be a revolution within a short period is they talk about these policies that people believe that will empower them. And they will hold account to that. Because the way they liberalize their politics. They talk about the resources. They talk about fighting corruption. They talk about the inclusivity of issues. And to put Senegal first and Senegalese first. Do we hear our opposition say that? No, they shy away from it. They're waiting for attacks and other things. or they wait for elections to come. 10 points, 5 points agenda, 10 points agenda, 5 point agenda. People don't even know what the 10.5 point agenda. Go and ask their own party militant. They don't know what the 10.5 point. They come on PowerPoint presentation. Yeah, you see, we have a manifesto. How did you generate that manifesto? What consultation did you do? Well, which stakeholders you spoke to? These are things we need to think about. That's what Perceive did. They include the people. They include the youth. They go and have this thing. They don't go and, okay, the youths of UDP come here, youths of PDIS come here, youths of this. No. They go, the youths of Bakau, let's sit down. Let's look at Bakau entirety. Your tourism. Let's look at the fisheries. Let's control them. Look, if I don't have time, I would have explained every dictator how they survived. Even especially if they come from a minority, like Saddam Hussein. The Sunnis were a minority in Iraq. What did Saddam Hussein do? To the extent of, because these people, it's not about tribe, it's like a belief, it's a sect. Saddam was able to get the Iraqi Shia, almost 1 million of them to fight against the Iranian Shia. The Iranian Shia. To the extent of the Iraqi Shia supporting his government, because it's a minority, supporting his government in the military and everywhere to attack Soleimania, Halabja, and throw chemical weapons, this thing on them, and throw chemical chemical biological weapons on the Shia in Iran. Dictators, that's how effective they can become. But in a democracy, it's a different thing. Now, everything we talked about, Bala have been saying this. Now, I'll play the audios and I'll analyze the audios for people to hear it. Some people did not hear the audios. They should be fair to hear Bala. And at the last, I'll bring another audio of what is reported, and I believe it to be so. It's alleged to be Yoguba. And Yoguba talking about the same similar things of what they were trying, how they were using money, and the vice president involved. And I told you, some of the things I told you about the vice president now is becoming evident as well. Let's listen to this.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, Rewi Gambia. Awad genna ci pour wax ci yar ak tegin wa president Rewi, President Adama Kairó Barrow. President Barrow. ñetti yoon a ngoog man fi maa ngi sori nag seetal National Assembly election bi nam demee woon ci capital city bi te sitting président bu toog benn siis sax mënuloo ko am ci capital city bi benn siis sax mënuloo ko am ci néegi député ñaareel ba ñëwaat nañ léegi ci affaire yi ci amaan ci ak mayo yi te bi gën a important mooy Banjul KMC ak Brikama
That's the first audio. And you heard, as I said, he started by sounding as respecting Barrow. They don't respect anybody. This is the person who called Babili Mansa. I mean, an express emphasizes, and Babili would think something else. And you know, whenever Babili says that he's going to sack him, this guy, or rumor of it, this guy will run to Babili's foot and crawl and beg and say to Babili, please, if you sack me, my siblings. That's how the mindset he has. People, you think they're educated? He would beg. Now, he's saying these things. He said, the National Assembly elections, we said it here. But they will try to spin. Even Barrow tried to spin the win. Oh, they got 4, we got 4. We know the 4 that is really very relevant to him. We have seen the evidence of how much is pumped, efforts and everything for the 4 that we really want to capture. He said, National Assembly, you haven't got anything. Council election, I mean, the mayoral election, the same thing. And this is a referendum. And when we talk about this is a referendum, people don't want to say it. The people that don't want to say it, oh no, this is not things. And sad enough, you have Gambians on the mainstream platforms in the Gambia. You see, self-censorship work in many ways. All these main platforms in the Gambia, they have to survive from advertisement. They are not surviving from only what the clicks or everything on social media. The advertisement, you know, most of the company advertising on them don't want to be seen as, look, if you are attacking the government, I cannot put my business onto you because they will see me as endorsing a platform which is opposition and others. You shall now see these pundits. They will not even invite now critical pundits. Because of now, Barrow or the NPP have told them, now if you invite this kind of people, I mean, will be a problem. Now they sit down there, try to analyze it, show them these things, which they avoid the facts. In private, they are telling you something. But in public, they don't want to alienate their platforms or their media houses. Because the media houses is a business for them. It's not about principles. That's why I said the opposition should not expect thinking the press will do a job for them. The press in the country is technically compromised. Now you have to be proactive, come out and do the job. We have social media, and you can do the job from social media. But he said it's referendum, blaming Barrow. And now he went for the lowest hanging fruit, 𝒉𝒂𝒏, or the water, the increase of this thing and cost of living. Is that new? 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍 is not new. But why was he then, when going on to support the same government and wanting that government to consolidate in Banjul and somewhere else? And he was dedicated to all the time bringing out, audios, looking at audit reports and misinterpreting or deliberately misinforming people based on his narrative of the audit reports. So much energy. It's not that because he cares about Banjul or Gambians, no. Because of he was benefiting from it and expecting. He was getting money from it and expecting something else. But when they fail now, knowing that Barrow is not going to see them, these doors are shut, now he has to come and criticize Barrow. Why didn't he go and sit down with Barrow? Because he knows that Barrow is not going to sit with him. Why didn't he go and sit down with the advisors of Barrow? Because they understand that there's nothing like advisors of Barrow. Everybody around Barrow is looking after themselves. In fact, if you go and tell some of them, you talk to them trying to tell them something very positive or creative, no, they'll take what they take from it, the good, they go and own up to it. Sir, I want to advise you. You see, sir, we have to do this in Bakau. We have to do this. We have to, instead of telling them, sir, I spoke to _Ɓensuare and _Ɓensuare said this is no. Now, the negative that the other criticism that is critical, they turn, sir, you know the other day, I've been telling you, most of these people don't like you. Most of these combunkers don't like you. Most of his Banjans don't like you. Most of these Badunkas don't like you. Most of these Kiankas don't like you. Most of these Fulas, you think they are your family, they don't like you. Most of these Sarahulas around you think they like you, they don't like you. And I am suspicious that they want to form a political party. I am suspicious they want to do this, they want to do this. You know these Banjulians, you know these Bakawans, you know this. I was talking to 𝒂𝒐𝒊𝒏. You know what 𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒏 said? He's talking about 𝒂𝒂𝒏. He's blaming you for 𝒂𝒂𝒏. You know about cost of living? He's blaming you for this, blaming you for this. That's what they do. They understand. That's how it works. That's why if people say, oh, we cannot, yeah, we blame Barrow and blame people around him. That's what you create, that's what you get. That's what you choose. We give you powers in 2016. We elected you in 2016. Give you all the powers, executive powers. You abuse those powers and get idiots around you. A clown goes to the palace and turn that palace into a circus. That's what we have. All these advisors, who would ever think about these people as advisors? He doesn't care. God bless you. Now, the thing he said about all this, yes, Barrow squarely to be blamed. We talked about this. I explained how the corruption in 𝒂𝒂𝒏 is, how Barrow is responsible for that. Go and look at the board members of 𝒂𝒂𝒏. What was Fatou Ceesay doing as board of member of 𝒂𝒂𝒏? The deals. Go and look at how Car Power contract was signed and who benefits from it. Go and look at the Senelec contract, how it's signed, who benefit from it. People just went and enabled. That's why we should be very careful when a narrative comes out. We just don't rush. Or when people provoke us, let us not just go and insult the entire communities. You see, this strategy started. It started in the Jawara days, I'll tell you. Just as PDIS was castigated as non-believers, as communists, as Leninists and everything else, that they don't believe in God, they don't do this, and people who were saying no, that it's a lie. They know that. They know each other. We know each other. That all these people pray. All these people are Muslims or Christians. They know that the ideology, they say, it's nothing to do with non-belief. Or even if you have two wives, they're going to share your wives. Just imagine that politics started then. That's why we should be very careful. But what did that brought? Give the Jammeh a platform. And now this is what we are facing again. Let's move on here. Let me bring it down. Now, Bala came out because of accountability. Because what they promised Barrow is, oh, you see, we won the presidential elections. The parliamentary came, it was a disappointment, a disaster. Because most of the things they did could not be done again to win. Then, Barrow was not happy. And you can see the reflection of that in the government. Entirely, about 5 ministers from Banjul were removed and replaced with APRC hardcore, or what will become hardcore. The Queen Jammeh, Abasanyang, and go on and go on. Technically what they did. Now, they promised Barrow that they're going to do better now. The council election come in, they saw a kind of an improvement. Oh, you see, we came back. Because of this so-called improvement, they asked for more resources to be committed. More resources to be committed. Now Barrow scared. Now parliamentary was not decided. He would say, I win the parliamentary because I have more MPs. But historically in Gambia, or historically in Africa, it is Usman Sonko positive that started to change that narrative when he joined a coalition. Started to make sure that you can win the presidential, but we can come and take the local representatives. Parliamentary, we can beat the government incumbent. Local government, we can beat the government incumbent. And that's an indication that when we go to elections, we are going to win first round. Because of what? The strategy, what we call the word number. You see, I can tell you the entire other opposition that follows, that are part of the Yahweh Askanbi with Sonko, are just been carried by passive. That's Gambia. That's why I said that if you have a good opposition that have strategies, the government can be an incumbent, the government can throw everything to them, but you will have control of the people. And power of the people will determine the future of that country. It's through policies. The strategy will be based on policies and knowing how to deal with all those negative acts and orders. Don't think that the tribalism is not in Senegal, has not been used. Don't think that even worst, militias have been used in Senegal. And TV stations, journalists have been bought, and everything else, influencers bought, religious symbol. Everything is in there. But people resist it now, and changes is coming through that. But what happened here is, Barrow wanted to win this because he knows that if he continued and lose this mayor, that will be an indication he knew. Then they put more money. The Mohammed Jas, the business people, Haji Bani Sissoko, Ababakar Jawaras, Hadim guys, all those patrons, many patrons, some of them we don't even know. They put in the money. But not only that, Barrow put in money directly to this campaign. And the entire campaign, even probably Basse will have less because they have more confidence in Basse. But every other place, it was on the trend. For many reasons that Bala Jahumpa had put in. I will get to that. But they were on the trend. This money went on. Few days before elections, in fact, these people ran out of money. $20 million. They went and accessed from Zenith Bank. That $20 million belonged to the Women Development Fund, something like that. I've got the information here. When they went, the Women Development Fund, I think, got over 100 million in fixed deposits. They went and accessed and insist that this transaction to be done that day or just overnight because they need this money immediately. And most of that money was given to Maimuna Balde and others, so-called, to go and get the women. That's what you hear. Okay, they mobilize AI companies to go and give it to them. They took this 20 million as a loan against the 100 million fixed deposit. They have to arrange that and they have to pay charges for that. This money was meant for Gambian women to be supported and others, but no. It went to the few. Now, the election results turned out. The money they pumped in all these areas and disaster. Even worse in Banjul. Not only that Rahim Malik Law won, but won technically a landslide. If you win 1,300 difference in Banjul, and go and look at the last mayoral elections. Now they wonder, how can we put all this money? With all these promises, nothing happened. You see, that's why I said the timing, Bala Jahumpa did not say all this before the elections. During the elections, he was campaigning, telling you their candidate is better, everything is better, this government, Barrow is good, everything is good, and we are good, the Gambia is good, these people are corrupt, these people are tribalist. He said everything. And the next day you come up with this odious timing one. 2, the reason behind it is about now Barrow being angry because of they failed with all this money being pumped. Then Barrow obviously want answers. And it wasn't it was a confrontation. The night of the elections, they were meant to sit down and wait for the results. But when it started coming out, different areas, the things, McCarthy Square and others, Barrow knew. Because they knew the ballots where they think, and even where Barrow have voted, they lost that. And go and look at understand elections in Banjul or anywhere else, and look and know areas that you would likely to win or not. That's what they know. When you look at, they knew what Baka was, but they have certain places they think, okay, we do better. But when they started counting, they know that's disaster. They did not could. Most of them were sent home. The next day, when the results officially came out, Barrow was so furious. They said to Barrow that, no, we are not going to give any interview. Because when they knew that when they give an interview, Barrow would just blow up. They put a script for Barrow, and Barrow followed the script. But if you listen to it, latter part, Barrow have gone off script a bit. Started to the attack. That presidential speech and everything was drafted, and he followed it forward, drafted. Now, this is what happened. Now, Barrow and others obviously went berserk. The rumor is not so rumor, in fact. That's a fact of this. That someone said, Bala only give me $20,000. Bala only gives me $20,000. Now they started to blame each other. Oh, this is only thing. Because most of these people realize this is the last cycle of elections. Now, some of them, because of they tried getting a job since after the first elections when they promised to now, and they realized that their name was not part of the list. The list, that's why some of the lists were leaked. People who are angry, leaked the list. They are not part of the job for the embassies. And do you know these people now are choosing to be sent to the embassies for medical reasons? Because now, because of their medical conditions, they want to be posted to embassies so that they can access medical. If they hear it, they know what I'm talking about. They know. Some of these old people, are trying to get to the embassies. Now, what happens is, they rather take, when they had the campaign money, some of them said they keep most of the campaign money. The campaign money did not trickle down. This is the accusing each other. We have to force Bala to come out. Because of people like him were pointed at, you stole the money. And we had audios. And if it was only for those audios, I'll not come out and make a program about it. We had local women say, Halis bin Fijahayib and other places. They said, so Halis bin Fijahayib, Saniul and Ibufay, or Salul and Bakari Baji. And you can see even Bakari Baji campaign, the night before, they melted. Most of these people, so-called Bakari Baji campaign, they vanished. You don't even see their footprint again. Because they knew they could not deliver. But it was good money going around. They have to be part of that good money. Most of these people vanished because they knew it failed. Now, this was the timing. Because what did Bala Jahumpa talked about in the audio? If you give me a minute, I will get the audio. What Bala said about the audio, and I'll play it, and this is entirely true. For since Barrow came to power, we talked about these things. We criticized this. And look, if a government delivers, you see why dictators stay long. Dictators, they put fear, they divide people and control them. Look, if I don't have time, he stayed with Barrow. And the beginning, these people were criticizing the coalition, saying that Jammeh is this, Jammeh is that. But the minute they realized that the negotiations and everything is done, and Jammeh is a loser in these negotiations, they just abandoned Jammeh, and Jammeh went with the renegades that really believed in him and stayed with him. Then the rest of them, they come and went and joined Barrow as the APRC that supports Barrow. I want governments to know this. That's why we should not be fighting among ourselves. Because of these people. What they say doesn't represent anything. And someone like him will go to Banjul, pretend that he has the interests of Banjul and Banjulians. And he will provoke others. And in order for others to go and attack Banjulians, and now what they have is, now the opposition is against us who are Banjul. We were Banjul, we were Banjul. This exposes it. They're going to expose all this. We talked about it before, but this is going to expose it themselves. Now, the timing is very important. It's about timing, it's about accountability or so-called accountability. When we get into playing the audios, I'll analyze the audios. But let me say this. What actually happened? When the results started to come out, Bala was planning because they promised Bala. When the local government elections, when the APRC did their magic and stole the elections, I keep on I'll keep on emphasizing this. They stole the 2021 elections with did many other things. It's not only one way. Voter registration and other things they did. But the other things they did, one of it is divisive. Bring negative, tribal. Put fear into the people. They put fear into the people. But, they admitted to it. 𝒂𝒂𝒏 said it was a tactics. He openly started as a Mandinka, openly started. In intelligence, you said that the message is important, but the most part for the message to be disseminated, you have to make it, they have people to believe it. Now, if a Mandinka come and say to that, look, be careful of these Mandinkas, they belonging to this opposition. Because these Mandinkas, this is what they do, and they were part of that group, but they try to tell you that, I am not part of them anymore, be careful of, this is what they're going to do. Yes, fear doesn't mean that it's a fact, but people can easily be fearful. And they did. The Jolas, the Karoninkas, the Fulas, everything, you will run to Casamas, you will run to this. It's stupid. If anyone have rationality, it's stupid. But when they do it, they provoke as well. And what they do, two other things they will do. One, they will invent people to come and act as those Mandinkas they're talking about in the opposition. And to insult, to threaten. And they'll take that and expose it. You see, we told you, that's the evidence. The Mandinkas will come for you if they win the elections, if UDP win the elections. Remember, it's not only 𝒂𝒂𝒏 force, they have so many Mandinkas do that for them. And they have other people to do that for them as well. Ahmad will come and galvanize that. Because it's easier now for Ahmad to do it because Mandinkas themselves, they're talking about it. That's the strategy. And that's what they take as a strategy. They don't care about what could happen. Let them just cross. They did all this. And you see they try to do it in these elections as well. But when they did that, it was not handled well by the opposition, by UDP and others, and the other Gambians that should know better. And I will say this, in order for these people to satisfy themselves, because they want to support Barrow because of what they can get from Barrow, they cannot get from other entities. If UDP had come to power, they said, no, we will not have that. Not that they hate UDP, not anything else. No, the problem is if UDP come to power, they will not have the job they want. That's what they expect. Or they do not have the contract they want. Or their father or mother or friend, whatever he is, they will not have that. It's not about UDP or tribe. It's about that interest. And other people would have different reasons. And these people would do it, yeah, that's why I will not support UDP. And these people will come as independent people. You say, I'm independent. I will not support, yeah, that's why I rather, yeah, even Barrow is bad. I know it's bad, Barrow is bad, but I rather have Barrow. Genuinely, they know that they have no reasons apart from their interests. You see, this is what Bala is telling you. Bala will tell you all this. And you'll be surprised if UDP have come to power, these people will turn around. That's what they'll be doing. Do I have evidence of this? Yes. Sadauda came to power. Where were the Jahumpa'S? Where was Bala? How much did Bala benefit from a Jawara government? How much Bala's sister benefit Fatmata Jahumpa? I'm not talking about the entire family because they are different people. These two people, I'm telling you, prominent. Fatmata Jahumpa was technically living at the State House. Technically living at the State House. Like that. But the minute Yahya Jammeh came, they abandoned. Bala abandoned. She abandoned. But when they abandoned, they went and supported Jammeh, regardless of what Jammeh did. When Jammeh started, what did Jammeh do? Divisive politics first. It's Banjulians Jammeh attacked. First, the notion that it's Banjulians that hijacked Jawara's government. It's Banjulians that enjoyed Jawara's government, which was a lie. Which was a lie. Always it's a few from different part of the country, from different tribes, enjoy Jawara's government. But in average, what we have in our history today, majority of Gambians did really enjoy Gambia. If you have this in you, you understand what we had before is far better what we ever had. But no, divisive politics, that's how it works. You come and castigate a group. Fajara. Go and find out how Fajara came about and the people in Fajara. And count how many Banjulians live in Fajara. You understand social mobility? Fajara as Fajara. You have, I can tell you, Fajara, if you know the Fajara, the territories of Fajara, you can even say that the Akus, are more in Fajara than any other tribe or people. And the Akus are Fajara on merit, not on anything. They choose to want to live there at the time, nobody want to live there. They were educated. They were prudent in their lifestyle. And they built what they have. And what they have wasn't big. It's just the name Fajara. Most of it was bungalows. It was in story buildings and everything. But the other people that live there, who are they? They are civil servants. Most of them, they were not politicians. They were civil servants. That until today, nobody can point them to say that they have been absolutely corrupt or doing wrongs. They were not politicians. Few politicians started to live in Fajara later part. And most of them don't even live in Fajara, they live in Pipeline. Because now some people said, okay, Fajara, Pipeline, there's a difference. There's a huge difference. Most of these people too were Gambians who were civil servants and went even abroad and become expatriates. You working at the UN and others, and they build their houses. The land was demarcated, give it to them free. And they start years and years. Because we as children, we played in that area. We have seen compounds that after 10 years they become a compound. We have seen them from demarcation to when they do a local fence, when they started to build small every year. You see improvement because of they save a little bit, do it. We have seen that. But when Yahya Jammeh came, Fajara. When Yahya Jammeh came, this with their kids, they take them to school with cars. But he's used plane to take his kids out to school in America. Primary school in America. Secondary school in America. This person tell you they take this, or they go to holidays. Yeah, the kids go to holidays in England. That's negative. And most of the people started to say, yes, the Banjulians are Jammeh. When the Imam Ratib of Banjul went to see, with a council of elders, went to see Jammeh, at the beginning, few days, to speak to the junta, to say to him, calm down. Let's do this. Sana Sabali came out. And with Sana Sabali was there, Ebujara was there, Kababaj was there, I believe, yeah. Very ruthless. And spoke to the Imam in a manner which was very disrespectful. What this Gambian said, yes. No, the Imam is only going there because of the Banjulians who are arrested. And go and find out how many people were arrested who were not Banjulians. We were far more than Banjulians. Most people, they said, were Banjulians, were not even Banjulians. Yes, they happen to live in Banjul for so long. They happen to marry in Banjul. That's what happens when you live with people. You're bound to love each other. You have to have a relationship. I mean, when you are affluent, you just sense your choice of partner becomes, that's what it is. But these people just went unenable. That's why we should be very... Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, listeners. Let me check my volume. I forgot to check it the last time. If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know, please. If you can hear me loud and clear, let me know, please. Thank you. Today is Tuesday, the 23rd of May, 2023. The time just gone about 48 minutes past 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Birmingham. If you bear me a minute, we share the video and I shall start this program. Thank you very much. Thank you. You can hear me. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. The last time some people said they could not hear me clear, but I think it's from their end. I'll try and make this a brief analysis of the fallout from the bad performance of NPP in the municipal elections. I am not going to analyze the elections today, but inshallah tomorrow I have a guest, I have a friend, I have a brother who is visiting me tomorrow if all works out, and we'll have a conversation and analyze analyze the results of the elections, and we'll try and capture that on social media. What I am going to talk about today is going to revolve from the audios, which I'm going to play later. is gonna revolve around the audios that Bala Jahumpa, who is called Action Man, Bala Jahumpa, who used to be Minister for Jammeh, have been Finance, External Affairs Minister, have been many positions at Jammeh's listing, and became Barrow enabler as well. And why are we doing this program? I rarely look at an audio and come and make topic of my discussion based on audio, no. But this audio is very relevant. Very relevant. It's not because of Bala said it. Yes, that's part of it. Bala, what Bala have said, it's why we are doing it. It's not about Bala Jahumpa per se. But knowing the involvement of Bala in these elections or past elections or with Barrow, it's very important to analyze this. But what I'm trying to emphasize here is, what does it reveal? I have seen Gambians celebrate, some Gambians celebrating, or at least Bala have said the truth. Bala have said part of the truth. And the truth that Bala talked about, it's not a new truth. Bala have not revealed anything that have not been talked about all these years since Bala came to power. Then that's why we need to understand this issue here. It's not only about Bala, but it's about our government itself, the foundations of our government. And that's why when we talk about NPP, we don't talk about NPP for any other reasons, because NPP would form the foundation of our governance. Because the political party that wins the elections, or the political parties that won elections, will come to form the main government, and obviously opposition is part of that government because of that's the structures of government. And the more you win as an opposition, the more you should be held accountable because of your presence in the governance. Now, we should ask ourselves, why did Bala speak out? Why did he speak out? Why did Bala? If we listen to the audio, we'll know that Bala have access to Barrow before. Bala have spoke to Barrow before. We have seen evidence of, we know evidence of that. Why did Bala have a need to criticize President Barrow and to do it in the open? Bala could have gone and sit with President Barrow. Bala could have gone and sit with advisors of President Barrow. Bala knows how to get to President Barrow. But why did Bala choose to release audios? And not one, not two, not three, not four, about 5 audios. He took his time and he went into. And the things that Bala spoke about, they are not things that just happened yesterday or day before yesterday or during the campaign period or after, just before the campaign period. You know, if it was something that happened during the campaign period, oh yeah, as you know, it's something that have happened and been happening since Bala came to power. And the same Bala Jahumpa, from the beginning, he recovered. And they realized, listen to this, and they realize now they have an avenue to recapture the state. We all have to remember that Bala Jahumpa was one of the last with Barrow. Even when his sister abandoned abandoned Jammeh while she was in Senegal, when she was under a lot of pressure, Fatmata Jahumpa'S came and abandoned Jammeh at the face of it. But I'll tell you what, just to tell you the people we are dealing with, Fatmata Jahumpa'S continued to deal with Jammeh, continued to talk to Jammeh. The so-called planned political parties he was talking about was with Jammeh. When Fatmata Jahumpa'S was in Dakar and everything else, he was constantly with Jammeh. Fatmata Jahumpa'S attended even naming ceremony where Jammeh called her and she put this thing and passed on to certain people who were there, the enablers. Just to give you an idea of, we know who these people are. They don't believe in anybody. They don't believe in anything. What they believe in, how they can get something for themselves. Then when these people come out, especially talking about that they're representing that interest, because we had Bala during the campaign, or we were Banjul, representing Banjul, we representing this, is lying to a state. None of them represents Banjul or Banjul interests. That's why, because of these people, we should not fight. We should expose them and then send them where they belong, to the bin. And make sure we have decent people in our politics to try and sort out, the future of that country. Bala Jahumpa, from when Barrow came in, he's part of those. They have an APRC technocrats or technocrats and ministers forum. They have a WhatsApp forum. They have a forum for APRC politicians. They have different forums that tells you how much betrayal there, and some of these forums don't know of each other. Unless you know, some of them are within different forums. But they have that's why when I talk about APRC, I'm not talking about the card carriers of APRC. They have the card carriers of different APRCs. Different members, those who are genuinely, for whatever reason you said, they believe in an APRC project, they believe in Jammeh and everything else. But all these people, supposedly landed people, educated people, they don't believe in Jammeh, they don't believe in anything. What they believe in is what they can get from it. They are opportunists. Thank you. Now, when they realized they settled, already Njoguba and others, Astafullah, Alhaji Sisi and others have started the project in Dakar when Barrow was there in the impasse. Now, when Barrow came in, glimpse of hope, they started to maneuver. Njoguba and the Director General of SIS, and others started to maneuver and to recapture Barrow. Obviously, Bala and others were in there. And some of these people, when UDP was in government, in fact, they thought Barrow would never betray UDP. They started to move to align to the UDP. But until they realized that, yes, Barrow have given them an opening. Because Barrow started to play UDP, play APRC. And they see the proof of this by bringing APRC ministers into government. And they were, and other promises Barrow did, and Barrow predictions and so on. He stayed with, he stayed with